Okay, we're online and live, and the time is approximately 3:02. Okay, we are online, and it's 3:02. I'd like to call to order the special meeting of the Fire Commission for Thursday, January 19th, 2003. We have a quorum. The first item on the agenda, acceptance of the minutes of the regular meeting on Tuesday. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner DeStrouge. Any corrections, deletions, omissions?
No.
Okay, I have a couple of things
Okay, Chief.
under Training Division report. It's not Captain D Maggio. It's Deputy Chief Maggio, needs to be corrected in two different places. Also on page 4, the name has to be corrected.
Okay.
And the return to public session is at 3:58 PM. The
Thank
meeting
you.
adjourned at 3:59 PM.
Thank you.
That was not added.
Okay. Is that
I
all, Chief?
also have one correction that needs to go in.
Okay,
On page 3, the last paragraph before the fire marshal's report. The second sentence should read, there has been an increase in the EMS calls due to the number of priority 1 and priority 2 calls that the fire department is dispatched to. And that'll make that sentence more exact for the record.
okay.
Thank you.
Any further corrections? Okay, seeing none, all in favor of approving the minutes as corrected?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Next item is action items. There are no action items. Fire Chief's report, Chief Gatto.
Yes, thank you. Before getting onto the operating budget, I just want to bring to your attention, we had a capital improvement project of $41,000 for electrical upgrade for lights and some of the OSHA violations at the maintenance garage across the street. I am going to withdraw that item from the list of capital projects because the OSHA violations will be paid for by Craig Schmidt, and the replacement of the old halide lights in the big garage, we're partnering with SNEW, and the cost of the project is $24,000. They're going to cut that in half, and then we're going to pay monthly for 1 year until we pay off that bill, and we will be saving $12,908 the first year, and we'll be saving $25,196 the second and plus years after that. So the difference between those halide and LED lighting is just absolutely unbelievable. The less electricity that's being used. So SAW is very happy to help us on this project, and I think it's a great partnership.
Good, very good.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay, so operating budget, 6 months into the year already.
Unbelievable.
Yes, and if you look at the December numbers in the platoon budget report, it reflects a 5-week month. So that's why those numbers look a little bit high. We are in the firefighting account, the wage and salary regular account is at 44.7%. The salary overtime is at 45.9%. And I'm afraid that is going to start to tick upwards because as of 12/31/22, we had 5 people retire in the drop. So that brought us to 10 vacancies. We have one more lieutenant retiring January 31 of this year. That'll bring us to 11 vacancies. So we're going to absorb at least that many vacancies until we put the 8 people on, which will be the last week of May. So
We don't have any more laterals ready to go?
you have 2 that's coming on. But we're going to put them on as a group. Just it's easier to do training and keep everybody consistent. And then the overall number for the operating is at 46.5, which is below 50%. So I'm very happy with that. And I think we're right now we're doing pretty good with the budget. So that's
Sounds like you're doing really well. I know with the retirements and the increase in overtime funds to maintain your minimum manpower, should be an accompanying decrease in your regular wage account. So sometimes that helps offset it, not totally, but to a degree.
yeah, and I think it will. We've kind of extrapolated the numbers for the next 6 months, and I think we'll be all right.
Okay. Commissioner, any questions?
No questions, but thank you so much for job well done and for Oregon and adjusting so that the budget will be within a reasonable number. Great job. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, Commissioner, I believe you're coming to us live from Quito, Ecuador.
Oh, yes, we are. And thank you also for adjusting the regular scheduled meeting. Appreciate that very much.
Well, it was probably a good idea too, since I just had some procedures done. Now I'm feeling a little bit better. I can sit in a chair. I had a hip replaced.
Oh,
Yeah, last week. So
speedy recovery.
getting better every day. Okay, next item on the agenda, Assistant Fire Chief of Administration, Assistant Chief Conte.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor. Glad to hear you're feeling better. Good
Thank you.
afternoon, Commissioner DeStrouge. So just
Good
a couple updates on ongoing projects. Our mobile data terminals, the computer programs or MDTs are still in process. We've got some, actually got half the shipments in and our orders are in. And the build out is in process. So we should be updating our software upgrade probably within the next 5 months, I think that they're thinking. So everything's going smoothly there. Our station learning upgrade, they finished doing all the basic wiring and they're waiting for the equipment to arrive, which they said should be first or second week of February. So we're doing really well with that. And assuming everything doesn't get backlogged, we should be on. And they said probably next 6 months with that too, upgrading that system. For Station 3, the apparatus floor, I met with Third Taxing District last month. Everything went really well. It was very good meeting. And I submitted everything to them and I'm attending their board meeting on next Monday night, the 23rd, just to get a final confirmation, but everything went very well.
Good.
Yes, I'm happy to say. OSHA compliance, that's what I've been working on. We're over 50%, basically compliant. We've corrected a lot of there were basically a lot of minor citations. We've done a lot, corrected. We're over 50% and we're really on target to complete everything prior to any of the deadlines. I'm happy to report. And then just one last quick thing that I received today, Station 5, the roof, the contractors are, they're finalizing the contract. They're really just waiting on a good window of weather. And then they're going to start that project. And they said they should be done within a 30-day window. So we're looking good. I'll take any questions.
With the OSHA compliance, it's unfortunate that it took them 30 years to get here, or over that. Probably going to have Craig Schmidt work out a kind of a training program as well, but also some inspections that might have, each department might get inspected once a year just for compliance to make sure that we stay on top of things. Unfortunately, when they pull a surprise attack like that, these little things that kind of happen and nobody notices, you're going to find them. But as you mentioned, Chief, that Most of these were very, very minor. And I think overall, we did relatively well, considering the services you guys perform, you guys and gals, the police department, DPW, and they haven't been here in 30 years, and we're a pretty good sized city, so I think we did really well. So, Commissioner Destruge?
I agree totally with your comments, and I'm grateful for everything that the entire team is doing to keep us safe and compliant.
Okay. All right, next one is Assistant Fire Chief of Operations, Assistant Chief McCabe.
Good afternoon, everyone. Under
Good afternoon.
operations, we had 2 fire apparatus companies submit bids to the city for the department's next 2 pumpers. The pricing and the specifications are currently being reviewed. On January 3rd, the department sent an engine company with 4 personnel to North Haven to assist with station coverage and ceremonies for the funeral of firefighter Matthias Wirtz, who died in the line of duty at a house fire on December 26th. At this month's meeting with dispatch, we have updated the response to all wood frame high-rise residential dwellings in the city to a full assignment for all alarms. And in the past 30 days, the department has responded to 9 fires involving structures, including a large exterior shed on Christmas morning, a 3-alarm fire on Betmarlia Road on January 8th, and most recently, a 2-alarm house fire on Chestnut Hill yesterday afternoon. Happy to say that no injuries were reported from these fires. And as always, the fire personnel who responded to these incidents acted professionally, did an exceptional job.
Absolutely. It seems like a lot of fires in the past couple of days. And I know Fire Marshal Sawyer might have more information at some point, if he doesn't already, about any Christmas tree related things or candles or.
None that I am aware of. I'm sure Fire Marshal Sawyer will speak on that during his report, but nothing Christmas related that I can say. More winter related, wood burning stove, that type of thing, but nothing specifically involving the holiday or decorations.
Commissioner Destruge?
Yes, please, thank you. If you would please give us an insight as to what does it mean to have designated a full assignment response for all alarms? What is the implication of that?
Yeah, so we have several levels of response for automatic alarms that come in. We have what's called a 1-in-1 response, which is one engine and one truck company, which will respond to residential automatic alarms, some commercial automatic alarms. And then we have a higher level of response, which is what I stated there in the report, called a full assignment. Full assignment involves 2 engines, truck company, rescue company, and the chief. And if it comes in as a fire, we also send a RIT engine, an additional truck to that. So for a lot of the multiple wood dwellings that have gone up, the residential dwellings, think of Waypoint, think of Avalon, those types of new construction buildings. Because of the life hazard there, because they're wood frame, we're basically taking a cautious approach to automatic alarms at those types of structures and sending the full assignment on the initial alarm for an automatic alarm. And just the sheer size of those structures as well. Not that they're more dangerous, but it can take a long time to investigate an alarm. There's several different entrances at those types of properties. So we need to send enough personnel to make sure that we can investigate the alarm quickly.
Understood. Thank you.
Very good.
Okay, so I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yep. Just to summarize the calls for December, we had 802 incidents, averaging 26 per day. So it was a very busy month. We had 19 fires, including the structure fires I just mentioned. We went to 21 rescues, 16 of those being motor vehicle accidents. We responded to 479 emergency medical calls, 36 hazardous conditions, 41 service calls. Those were up, and you see that 15 of those were water problems, and most of those were associated with the heavy rain that we had on December 23rd. We responded to 139 fire alarms and 67 smoke scare good intent. So looking at the cumulative statistics for 2022, we responded to a total of 8,591 incidents and 13,585 total runs. And that's up 913 incidents from 2021, and we're up a little over 1,400 runs from 2021. So it was a busy year. Responses for all companies in the city were up. However, it's no surprise that the busiest companies, which are engines 1, 2, and 4, also saw the largest increase in 2021. And we've spoken in the past about moving the company to Station 4, which is one of our busiest districts, to supplement the call volume in that district, which, as you know, is an ongoing project. And I can take any questions.
I have none. I like the idea of constantly evaluating the metrics as to where things are happening, the causation of things, and then making adjustments as appropriate. For a prime example is moving a company up to Station 4, where they get a lot of business, a lot of calls, and we need to be able to respond as quickly as possible under any and all circumstances. So thank you for taking a look at that, you and the chief and Assistant Chief Conti.
Thank you.
Commissioner DeStrouge?
Same thing. Thank you for your proactiveness and in putting the correct label on the wood frame houses, the complex houses that need to have a full response. We really appreciate your proactiveness on that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that brings us to Fire Marshal Sawyer.
Hi, good afternoon, folks. Okay, I'm going to follow up on Ed's speaking of the wood burning stoves. That's really what it was, bad cooks, and some of these are still under investigation. None of them were candles or Christmas related that we see so far. Okay, to answer that question, for the month of December, we had 132 inspections. We sent out 14 notification letters, 4 public education events. We are also doing the OSHA training with PD and DPW for the portable fire extinguishers. 2 of my guys are going there tomorrow at 6 a.m. over at PD to start that. Brian Cunningham, Lieutenant Cunningham, started them with a video to prepare them for our training. Plan reviews, 14. Liquor license inspections, 9. Fire investigations, 11. Code issues and hazards were 4. And plan review fees, $600. Liquor license fees were $585 for a total of $1,185. Brian, any questions?
Sounds like you're keeping up with things or doing the best you can with the staffing that you have. I know it's difficult.
Yeah, absolutely are. December is tough too because people are on vacations and a lot of people around the holidays. They don't get back to us. So, but we're doing okay with what we have.
And I know there are people that don't really understand what you're able to do and what you're not able to do.
Yes.
And they make comments publicly and but so it's always good to be able to educate people that are misinformed and letting them know
Absolutely.
you just can't walk into somebody's house and start an inspection. You need to go through a process. So
Yeah.
If they have questions, they can always call. Always
exactly. Well, sometimes they don't want to do that because
That's right. They're all
Commissioner-
the story.
right. Commissioner DeStrouge.
No questions, but thank you for all the preventive care that you do through your education programs.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Okay, well, that will bring us to training report, Deputy Chief Baggio.
Good afternoon, Mayor. Good afternoon, Commissioner DeStrouge.
Good afternoon.
Thank you. December, our lighter month in training just due to the holidays. So a little bit less on the current, but of course, ongoing engine company, ladder company training, and due to the recent hires, again, we're continuing and have qualified many new drivers on the ladder trucks as well as the engine companies. So making progress there. It's still an ongoing item. Wellness coordinator continues. We did, I'll mention under completed, or I'll mention it now, but working with Sarah, the wellness coordinator, she had offered to bring in a nutritionist. I thought it would be good to start at the new year, as many people often use a New Year's resolution to start healthier eating habits and lose weight. So we kicked off the new year with a nutritionist, and that was a lot of good feedback and some requests from personnel on maybe some continued program that the nutritionist offered online. Item number 4, under current training, maritime navigation, that will continue well into the summer as new personnel have moved into the Marine Station over in East Norwalk. EMT, EMR renewal, that's an annual event for us, and looking into kind of amortizing that throughout. It's a 2-year renewal period for each person licensed in as an EMT or an EMR, and so that it doesn't become an annual event and take up a good portion of our winter into spring. We'll amortize some of those classes throughout the 2-year period so that we don't actually have to set aside a 2-month period to really get everyone requalified, satisfying those required items throughout the 2 years. So each time they come due for an expiration, all we need to do is do a filing. But that'll take about a year to 2 to implement, or slowly and progressively. Under training report, section B, completed training. We just completed automatic sprinkler system training. If you already have the pictures opened up on the attachment, if not, you can open those now. It's the attached Word doc. And that's just an example. This at Lowe's, where we took the class after we completed the PowerPoint presentation. But that's like a typical laid out sprinkler room. And there's a lot of differences between those risers, each one of that piping systems that go up and down. So wet systems on the left, dry systems in front of us. And it's oftentimes a lot for personnel to come. They don't get a lot of this in basic training in fire school. So however, we respond to sprinkler system activations all the time, and we can limit water damage if we're able to shut them down quickly and identify the proper zone that's flowing water. Oftentimes they activate due to fires, and we wouldn't shut them too early, but important to know how to operate the systems and shut them down quickly if we need to, and or supplement them if there is fire. The ways that we attach hoses and complement the interior sprinkler system. Back to the agenda. Item 2 under completed training, that's company-led training, and that, as I mentioned before, December being a slightly lighter month due to the holidays, some between Thanksgiving and Christmas, a lot of devotion is given to the company officer to really work with personnel that they are working in station day in and day out. So they more of on a micro level know the needs of each individual on their shift, and it allows them time to really work with them, and not at the management level up macro where we're kind of deciphering training for the whole department wide, but this allows them to work more one-on-one with their assigned personnel. Item number 3, again, I mentioned the nutritionist that's being completed, well received. And then next section, upcoming training, rapid intervention team we do annually. And this is how rapid intervention team, as you know, is a company or a group of personnel on scene at a fire that we assign during ideal H environments, like dangerous environments or high hazard, not house fires, but it could be certain types of rescue, waterfront type events that might come with higher risk to where we could lose personnel quickly or have to rescue our own personnel. So, but that's, they're labor intensive, and to remove a downed firefighter from a structure is oftentimes takes 12 personnel, and it's an exhausting and daunting task. So we practice that, removing a firefighter, and like an unconscious type firefighter. We use a weighted, I don't want to use the word that we used to. Let's see. Okay, mannequin is the best word to use. So we use a weighted mannequin to simulate a downed firefighter, and we do strap an air pack to that to the mannequin itself. So, but again, tying off, getting that mannequin out safely into the ground from an upper floor is a daunting task, and we practice that annually. Next item, PES, personal escape system training, and that's the hardware that every firefighter is equipped with, so that it's the last resort evacuation. You know, if you have to evacuate an upper floor due to fire, or any type of collapse that's imminent and really a last resort type bit, that's where you'd hook a window and the device would lower you to the ground approximately 2 meters per second. So we practice that with a belay line, just because it is a controlled environment and we don't have to put our personnel at risk during training. But in a real life event, there would be no secondary line. That's where they're really just hooking a windowsill and deploying that equipment and lowering themselves to the ground. That's a situation where there's really no other time to get a ladder to the window or to get ropes in place to pick someone from a window. That's truly a last resort item. But we do want personnel to be proficient as well as inspecting their equipment. So we train on that annually as well. OUPV, next item, OUPV training. For those new personnel that are assigned to the Marine Station, it's the standard of licensing that has been selected region-wide. And we're running a class here in Norwalk as well as one in Fairfield for personnel to attend and license themselves for Coast Guard licensing on the water. Item number 4, standpipe operations. That kind of ties into the just recently completed automatic sprinkler training. And that would be for those larger buildings that Chief McCabe just spoke of. Some of our high-rise, medium-rise buildings and/or long type hallways that require standpipes, and that's the piping that's fixed in place inside the buildings that we would tie into and attach our when it's too far for us to stretch off of our own engines. So in that case, we would attach the piping on the outside of the building to supply those that piping inside, and the attack
Mhm.
would bring their hoses with them and attach to that standpipe and attack a fire. Last item, recruit firefighter training, and Chief McCabe has mentioned with the new personnel that will be or recently hired, or in the process of hiring. 6 of them will go to the Connecticut Fire Academy, and so that's upcoming and scheduled to complement the department's section division. And that's the training report. Any questions I can answer?
I have to apologize to Mr. Luca. I skipped right over emergency management, but I'll come back to that in a minute. You may know, and I believe you probably heard Deputy Chief Maggio, the city is going to be offering Spanish lessons to all employees. And one of the things that I encourage, well, what I told them we need to have done, especially with police and fire, upfront as quickly as we possibly can, to teach all personnel the key phrases or key sentences that may be needed at an emergency. For example, a fire department going, nobody speaking Spanish on one side, nobody speaking English. You need to ask, is there anybody else in the house and where are they? Those kinds of things. But the course is going to be limited. The first group that signed up, we have 70 people that signed up. And we're looking to do some immersion training where, perhaps have them not only take the classes, but then work in an environment where for a week or two, they only speak Spanish. So that's coming forward. And I think it's something that will be very welcome throughout the city. So if any firefighters don't know about it, or if they want to sign up, please make sure that they get the information.
We did receive that notice from City Hall, and we did push it out to the personnel as well. I know myself, I signed up. I think I heard some others as well, but if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be held virtually initially and during a lunch hour, and we'll certainly make accommodations for anyone that signed up to attend those.
Good. Now, Mr. Luca, I apologize. There's only one little line and it's bold and I skipped right over it. So you're up.
No worries. Thank you. So I did want to mention the storm that occurred, I guess, a day before Christmas. So there was some flooding issues in a few areas that were due to high tide that receded relatively quickly. Again, police, public works, fire, all phenomenal. We had some power outage issues with Norwalk Housing Authority, as you know, so I've done some follow-up with Eversource, just trying to get a better sense of what the replacement plan is for some of the transformers. So really making sure that, the next extreme drop in temperature or during the summer, we don't continue to have these transformers going out. So I will keep following up with them just to make sure, again, figure out where they are with the construction and those replacements. Because it has happened a couple times. And like I said, it tends to occur either in the extreme heat or again, for Christmas weekend, in the extreme cold. And then also working with them on identifying some of the space, especially in Colonial Village and some of their other areas that can serve as either overnight shelters if needed. Most of them have been identified for warming and cooling centers since they do have AC and heat. But again, we'll do some follow-up with them just to make sure that, you know, if this keeps occurring, they have a little bit more resilience to be able to respond internally. I mentioned last month that we had ordered the ice scrapers. So those have gone out to Parks and Rec, the libraries, senior center, customer service, and I think somewhere else. And again, all pretty well received. Most of the departments are passing out the when it snows brochure along with the ice scrapers. So again, that's a great information material. So again, people know about the online snow center, some of the snow emergency policies, and basically just how to stay safe in again, winter weather, which we don't seem to be having this year yet. And then lastly, on a regional level, we're having a tabletop exercise on February 7th to focus on some of the active shooter recovery services that will be needed if something occurs at a parade, movie theater, grocery store, a little bit different than the regular K-12 or an incident at NCC, really again, focusing on those community-based incidents. So family assistance centers, again, just that network of services that would be needed. Right now we have about 150 people registered, and we have a pretty strong team from Norwalk representing the city as well.
Good. Very good.
That's it.
Any
Thank you.
questions, Commissioner Destruz? Okay, you were on mute, but I don't think you have any questions, I guess.
Sorry about that. No questions.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Luca. Next thing is Local 830. I know there are no items, but congratulate on his retirement, Peter Carosa, who is, I don't know what his title is, a director of or president of
president.
the president of the Connecticut Police Unions Association, right?
Connecticut International.
I mean
Association of
firefighter. Yeah, and congratulations to our own Peter Brown, who's taking over his position.
Right.
So quite an honor for Norwalk. Next, under old business, OSHA update.
So we kind of touched on that. Mark gave his report, so I think we're good with that, Mayor.
Okay. Yeah. And then there's no correspondence, no new business, no old business you handled. Now we're under personnel. Actually, we would need a motion to go into executive session to discuss personnel.
Motion to move into executive session.
Okay, motion made by Commissioner Destruz. The time is, let's see what time it is. Help me out here, people. I don't have my watch.
2:36.
3:36.
3:36.
And we are all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, we are going into executive session at 2:36, and we will be back on this session at a point later on.
Thank you.
She's
Okay, so we are in executive session. We came out of executive session at 4:08. During executive session, no motions were made, no votes were taken, and I need now a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Commissioner DeShrews moves to adjourn at 4:09. All in favor?
Aye,
Aye. We are adjourned at 4:09. Thank you all.
all right,
Thank you.
thank
Mayor.
you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.